How do we ask a question? Maybe this is how you normally ask a question. For example, you may ask where to go, what you like, why you do that. You may ask these questions in spoken format, but if you want to write proper written English, you cannot ask questions like this. These sentences are grammatically incorrect. So instead of saying where to go, you may want to change it to where should we go? Where do we go? Instead of asking what you like, you will ask what do you like? Instead of asking why you do that, you ask why do you do that? So can you see the difference between a spoken question and a written question? Before we look into the proper format of a written question, we need to be aware that there are actually two types of questions. The first type would be WH how questions. We call these questions open-ended questions. While the second type would be yes-no questions. We call these questions closed-ended questions. So let's start talking about WH or how question, open-ended question. We are going to look into the structure of an open-ended question. Let's take this as an example. Where do you live? You can see that the question begins with a WH word, where. After that, you need an auxiliary verb, do. Then you will have the subject, followed by an action verb, and a question mark, of course. So this is the format of a proper written question. To ask a WH question, an open-ended question, of course you need WH words. You need to begin the question with a WH word or how, okay? Such as what, when, why, where, which, who, whom, whose, or how. After the question word, you will add an auxiliary verb. An auxiliary verb is a helping verb to tell the time or the mood of a sentence. So these are the examples of auxiliary verbs, such as be, if, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, will, would. So these are the words to tell you the time, the tenses. Then you will have other auxiliary verbs like shall, should, may, might, can, could, etc. to tell the mood of the sentence. After the question words and the auxiliary verb, then you need to add the subject of the sentence, who do the action. So you can choose from I, we, you, they, he, she, it. Now we are going to look at how to form a yes-no question, a closed-ended question. To make a yes-no question is easier because you don't need the WH word. All you need would be the auxiliary verb, then the subject, and an action verb. Now I'm going to tell you something extra. Just now when I mentioned about auxiliary verb, I said they are verbs to change the tenses and time, right? So now I'm going to talk about how to change the tenses in a question. So whenever we want to change the tenses in a question, we need to look at the auxiliary verb. Be, which are is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, and will, would, okay? So you just first form the question, like what I've just told you. Follow the structure and form a question first. And then if we want to change the tenses, we change the auxiliary verb. For example, here, where do you live is a present tense. If we want to change it into past tense, we need to change do into did. It will become where did you live? If you want to make a future tense, then change do to will. Where will you live? If you want to change it into present perfect tense, then change it to where have you lived? Or if you want to make it a continuous tense, then change it to where are you living? So all you need to do is change the auxiliary verb. So this is the end. Hope you understand more how to make an open-ended question or a closed-ended question. If you still don't understand, always go back and revisit this video. Bye!